Hey, what's going on, guys? Man, I'm telling you, we have really got to start doing these live shows a lot earlier than the 8 p.m. time frame because I started my partying a little bit earlier today. Man, I'm just like sitting here waiting for the countdown, waiting for 8 p.m. to kick in. But 8 p.m. for me is like, shoot, I'm like old lady, old man. Like 8 p.m. is like practically my bedtime. Nah, man, I'm not like that old, but shoot. Like I really need to like start these live shows at like 6 or 7, man, because like I said, 8 o'clock is just too late in the evening. I want to start them earlier in the day. Like I'm excited for like Saturdays to roll around and get the ball rolling for these live shows to be started over. So, oh, let's dive into today's discussion because this is something I've been wanting to talk to you guys about for months. Now, the Watty's channel exclusive for the last 3 almost 4 years now, ever since I got into collecting, I think seeing how my channel and seeing how my collection has just exploded, I think anyone basically seeing where the channel was when you first saw my very first episode and seeing where it was after about 50 episodes, seeing where I was after the 100th episode, 200th episode, I think everyone knew it was only a matter of time. When was this clown going to start his own wrestling line? We've got freaking If Grapples and or not Grapples again, if freaking zombie sailors can make their own crappy, shitty ass action figures, why the hell can't someone like myself make his own action figure line, man? But no, man, like all of these guys coming out of the woodworks, starting their own wrestling action line, and most of them are doing pretty spectacular jobs. Hasbro Toys, Grapplings, and Gimmicks, probably coming out with some of the best Hasbro style wrestling figures out there. You know, in the very beginning, Zombie Sailors were actually, for the first series, were actually pretty decent. And for the first several figures, I actually were a big fan of what Zombie Sailors were doing. It just wasn't until like my last year and a half where I just no. Now I'm like, Zombie Sailors is straight trash. But the figure collection store, which is incredible, right? When it comes to your retro style figures and Epic Toys and Premier Wrestling, and you think about, I mean, what else is out there? Hell, even Latoonie's making their own Hasbro style figures. Then you think about LJNs. Again, Latoonie. Random Treasures with their customs. You think about the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Major Bendy's, right? So where am I at? Why can't I get into the business? Frankly, I don't have those sort of connections. So no, I will not actually start my own action figure line. But it's fun to think about, right? But there is a Watty's channel exclusive I do want to kind of bring it to you guys' attention today. It is something personal. So it's not something that I'm actually going to branch out and try to sell on the market. You're not going to find these figures in Walmart because I think that's what Adam over what's that his name? What Adam Zombie Sailor or not zombies? Yeah, Zombie Sailor is Adam. I think that's his name. He's like, I'm gonna start selling these figures in Walmart. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. Your average buyer is looking to spend less than $10 at Walmart. You're trying to sell your trash for $40. Good luck with that. No, but it was personal. I think all of us want to have our own action figure that created after ourselves. I think Mattel, back in the day, probably a couple years ago, were creating like Power Ranger figures. Like you can like send in a picture and you can create a Power Ranger. I'm like, that was super cool, man. I didn't even know about that. So like maybe 6 months ago or something. And I'm like, no shit. How freaking awesome is that? But I think other companies are doing that as well. And so I'm like, yeah, let me create my own wrestling action figure. So that's what I did. So I tried reaching out to some of the different customizers out there. I'm like, who can do a legitimate, excellent job? So back in like 2021, one of the first guys I ever reached out to was Tom Veg. He does these head sculpts. Cut that off immediately. I think one of my first things that I wanted to do with Tom Veg was kind of get a custom figure of my wife. A second he started asking about, getting pictures of my wife in a bikini and shit like that, I'm like, fuck this, dude. I'm cutting your ass off. No, I am not having any dealings with that shit. No. But recently, a few months back, I reached out to Sin Bodhi. Sin Bodhi, obviously professional wrestler, but he's also one of the best customizers in the LJN customization business. And basically, I'm like, hey, bud, I want an LJN myself. How do we make it happen? Basically, headshot. That's all I need from you. What? No dick pics? Right on. So, specifications, headshot, what kind of design you're looking for, body pose, fighting pose, description, what kind of clothing do you want, what kind of, color, details, things like that. And, he could 3D print something. Do you want resin? Do you want rubber? Because he does both of that too. And what kind of sucks is we kind of messed up, and what I got in was resin. I think I ordered a rubber, but it's fine. For this particular figure, I'm going to use it as a prototype, and the next order, I'm going to get that one carded. I'm going to get it carded as a rubber figure, and I'm going to make that my official Series 1 release. So what we're going to look at today will be my, I guess, prototype for this particular video, for this particular live stream. So, and solid pace, man. And I'm already in the works with other YouTubers. So in yesterday's drive through Kentucky video, whatever you want to call it, I kind of jumped the gun, and I talked a lot about what we're going to talk about today. So a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about is collaborations. Who am I collaborating with Series 2? Who am I collaborating with Series 3? I'm reaching out to other customizers because, yes, I am going to stick with Sin Bodhi, who is absolutely freaking phenomenal. Excellent artist, awesome customizer. But one of my issues in the past with working with like Wrestling Writer, for example, I put way too much work on his shoulders, right? What did I have? Like probably 20 or 30 projects on that I basically sent out to him at one point. And it was like 2 years later, and I was still waiting on stuff back from him, right? So I don't want to do that. I don't want to overburden, one man with too many projects all at one time. So who else can I get out there to kind of mass produce these items? I reached out to Net over at Random Treasures. Can we get these resin figures molded into rubber form, and can we mass produce these? Because we need a distributor, right? Will Random Treasures possibly be someone that we could possibly go through? Now, in my video, I specified, hey, people may not want to buy this, right? But the figure, it is a soldier after all. It doesn't have to be someone buying me. It could be someone buying just a blank soldier. Think about Series 5 LJN referees. you're not necessarily buying Dave and Earl Hebner, right? You're buying blank referees. You could pretend they're Dave and Earl Hebner. So you could treat that soldier kind of like the same way. You could pair him with your Corporal Kirchner and kind of put him with your, give him to your kids, create, some kind of tag team with Corporal Kirchner. That would be amazing. Kind of create like your Remco Gagne Raiders or something. When Wrestling Writer mentioned that to me, I'm like, Eric, that's brilliant. So I kind of want to bring up the figure because I think that's why a lot of people tuned in for today's video. And it's incredible, guys. So proud of this. The Watty's channel exclusive Watty figure. So, man. Perfect look, perfect pose, stance, aesthetic look, everything that you are looking in an action figure. Amazing. So one of the things that I was, asking about was, hey, can we get the Hulk Hogan look, right? Hulk Hogan fighting pose. Technically, let me line this up best I can here. It's kind of got this backwards. Man, this sucks. All right, here we go. He does have it right. So the left arm is lined up to the Hulk Hogan. Everything's backwards, so it's so hard to line this up. But why is everything reversed? But it is lined up on here. Well, trust me, it's lined up correctly. Look at it. Look at the left arm. Right? So left arm, it's equal. So that's fine. And I think the left arm is more of like the actual Corporal Kirchner. So I think the Corporal Kirchner is more like so with the right arm, right? So I think he reversed the right arm on Corporal Kirchner to the left side. So I think that was pretty incredible. Hey, Rick. Yeah, man. This is going to be a fun live stream, man. So I've been looking forward to this live stream all day, bud. So this is going to be a pretty enjoyable one for me. So I've been looking forward, like I said, I've been looking forward to this night, to this week, really all day and all week long. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoy this one. Also, when Sin, obviously, it's got to go off like the Corporal Kirchner look, right? Hey, Jed. Hey, thanks, bud. Not everybody gets an action figure of themselves, right? And he freaking didn't. Look at the beard. He even got the damn Billy Goat beard working beautifully. You know what? I'm Army, obviously. So, I mean, I would obviously, for me personally, I would want it to be something that's Army related, but who's to say that we can't change up the uniform to something Air Force related, right? It's just a color scheme, but it's fine. The idea when I came up with this was personal use, right? I wanted this for my personal collection. But when I got the figure, when I first started getting the figure, I got two figures from him. I got the Bret Hart on black card, and I got this figure. But while he was working this, I'm like, I want to go deeper. I want more than just this figure. Hey, Chad, thank you so much, buddy. I see you. I really appreciate that, man. It means the world. Hey, Corey. Man, I wasn't that wasn't the original plan. It wasn't the original plan. The original idea was kind of like Watty's channel exclusive for personal use, but now maybe. I mean, not mass produce in terms of like hundreds or thousands of figures. Mass produce in the sense of 5 or 10. Like I want to show you guys because like I'm proud of it. But like if like let's say I show the figure and 5 people reach out to me and say, "Hey man, I like the figure. I want it." Cool. What I'll do is I'll hasten 5 guys reached out to me. They like the figure, they want it. Now, now depending what you want. Do you want the resin, which is $95? That's what Sin Bodhi charges, or do you want the rubber figure, which is $150? I'll reach out to Sin Bodhi. If you want the rubber, I'll pay him $150 times 5, and I'll buy the figures for you guys, and I'll just send it out to you guys if you need it. So, and that's the case. We'll just work it out that way. But like, I wouldn't try to make a profit off of it. Now, could I turn that into a business? I don't know. Like, it's so weird. Like, I don't think of myself as a marketable product, right? So, however, in series 2, I'm working with someone else and another YouTuber. Now, it's someone that I've talked about constantly. It's someone that I've always recommended that my viewers, tune in and subscribe to because I think he's freaking awesome. And he has such an amazing look. And I'm like, you know what? I can't use this look again. I can't use this same exact army look to counteract, his particular gimmick. So I need something crazy to kind of balance, his particular look as well, right? So, I don't know, Chad, I'm not sure, bud. So I'm kind of thinking, 150, steep. Yeah, because we think about it. Yeah, like Ram Treasures, they charge about what, like 130, 140 for theirs. That's why they offer that 10% discount, which gets you to about $125 for their figures. So, yeah, I think what also went into it was the fact that because it was personalized, maybe that played more of a role into it. Um, Now, I think if you were just getting like a Jimmy Garvin or Ronnie Garvin or like an actual AWA, WCW, WWF type wrestler, I think maybe that would make it cheaper. But I think because it's like a personalized person like myself or like yourself or something like that, I think that's the reason why it would be more expensive. At least that would be my guess. But it's pretty spectacular. Hey Rod, what's going on, bud? Smoke break. The bigger they. So yeah, man. There was I think I talked about it before, but in 2014, um, during the great firing, I call it. Now in 2014, they were supposed to be doing this mass drawdown in Afghanistan because the military was supposed to be drawing out, and of course that never actually happened. So all of these companies were doing like these mass layoffs, and all of these contractors were losing their jobs. And it's funny because in 2016, you had all this mass hiring, and like there was like this huge buildup. So everybody was coming back again, back around 2016. But so in 2014, I lost my job. I was on the layoff list around month 4, month 5 of the layoff list. And I came home around August, and then around October, well, in October of 2014, my wife and I, we bought tickets. We went to this murder mystery dinner in Austin, Texas, and I went as the devil for Halloween. So we went to this murder mystery dinner, and I'm using this devil gimmick as my Series 2 wrestling figure. So to kind of combat my special guest, as my collaborator for the Series 2 pack, that one is going to be an absolute killer. I want to talk more about that one because he's in the comments right now. Absolutely amazing. He gave me this awesome video where he kind of showed me some ideas that we want to use for our card backs. So here's my idea, or here's our idea. This is kind of like what I want to do, right? I want to use the AWA Remco Black Card Grudge Match idea. And so I want to have, obviously, the LJNs on a 2-pack side by side like so. But you see how they're like standing inside of a wrestling ring? Well, that's kind of like how I want to have the figures. And I want to have like kind of like a grudge match in the card, right? Now, he gave me this awesome idea where you take the AWA emblem, but remove the AWA, WWF, get rid of it. Put my initials, MRW. You already got W for wrestling, so which is perfect. So maybe something like M. You already got M for Matt. Erase the second T, MAT, as in wrestling, Matt, right? So maybe Matt Radical Wrestling or something like that. And maybe like a new logo or something. And then he's got his, logo obviously on this side, my logo on this side, our 2 figures. Oh, it's just so freaking exciting talking about it. And it's probably going to be like another 4 months or so before those 2 figures are released. But I mean, you see how like thick these cards are? I mean, they're not the thickest in the world, right? But they're relatively thick. Now, because this is not, name brand companies, the cards that we're getting, they're like paper thin. So they're not, they're not company store brand cards, but they're for personal use, right? So big rubber mats. I like it. How about an official ring? Shoot, oh man, you want to know how much I lack talent? I try to create as an adult. Hey Corey, check this out, man. I tried to create my own ring a couple years ago as an adult. I don't know why I tried doing this. I mean, I bought a bunch of rings for my collection, LJN, Hasbro, etc. I think I just did this because I had a bunch of, boxes that I bought off eBay, shipping boxes and whatnot. And I just wanted something in the living room, just kind of like to have all the additional Hasbros that I was selling. And I just poked holes in this box with a pencil. And I used the pencils as like the ring post and used like this little white tape, or I don't know what you would call it. And that was the ropes. It just looks so freaking shitty. I'm like, dude, how old are you? At that time, 38, 39 at the time. I'm like, and that's the best you could do? Could you? Oh, God damn. Embarrassing. Oh. So I am up to steel cages. Oh, God. Speaking of steel cages, I need to buy me a darn Remco steel cage. If anybody knows anybody that's selling a steel cage especially if it's new in box. I need that because I need to buy one for the Remco, the AW Remco Tuesday shows. That is definitely one that I'm missing for the Tuesday show. Uh, One thing that I will want to upgrade for the rubber figure. I've already talked to Sin Bodhi about this. The American flag on the right side and the unit patch on the left side. That obviously has to be made much larger. The nameplate and the U.S. Army tag obviously has to be made larger because right now it's too small and the lettering, is very illegible for the most part. But it looks really solid. Camouflage. So this right here, it's basically supposed to mimic the Army combat uniform. So, it's supposed to have like, your combat patch on the right side. Oh, yeah, he does have it on there. The flag and the combat patch on the right side. It's just so small that I didn't even notice that the combat patch is on there. Cool. But yeah, he did have the 4ID patch on there, so that's pretty awesome. And then the 41st Fires Brigade unit patch on the left side. Technically, I deployed twice, so I could have that as my combat patch as well. I hated these uniforms. They were so stupid. You think Velcro would make sense because you know what? You could always, remove your patches from one uniform and put them on another uniform. You don't have to buy, patches, have them sewn on. Plus, you never had to sit there and iron these. But no, these were terrible. I hated these. But that is one representation. I think on the next the next one I get that's rubber, I'm not going to get the ACU. I think I'm going to get the BD uniform on that one, the battle dress uniform, because this is what I had in basic training, and in fact, this is what I wore the first couple of years I was in the Army. So I'm going to get the woodland camouflage uniform for my next rubber one. And so that's 2 uniforms options. And of course, the third option is DCU, the Desert Camouflage uniform. So those are the 3, Army options, uniform options that I would put on that particular figure. Like I said, sometimes variants do work. Now, sometimes I'm against variants, but not always. Certain scenarios, certain situations do dictate that variants are acceptable. Like a figure like mine, variants are perfectly acceptable because different uniforms will work beautifully. When I talked to Sin originally for like the Series 2, the original plan was to recycle this exact same figure. And I was probably just going to use a different uniform for the Series 2. But because of the particular look for my collaborator, again, I think I've already told you guys the name of, who it's going to be for Series 2. But I'm calling him collaborator because I still kind of, for those who don't know who it is, I kind of want it to be a surprise. And when those who learn who it is, it's like, oh my God, mind blown, right? And I want it to be a shock, and I want it to be like, I got to get that figure. Like right now, I don't know what design he chose. I don't know, what colors he's used, what his fighting pose is. So when the figure is finally, released, I don't know if Sin is gonna if he's gonna show me the pictures before he ships it out. I don't know if Sin is gonna mail it to me first, and then when I get it in hand, that's the first time I see it or what. But I want to be surprised myself when I see his figure design. I want to be surprised because I'm excited about his selection. Like I said, it's gonna be incredible. But I think as much as I am interested in the figures itself, the card backing. I think the card backing more than anything is what I'm more interested in. What I want to hear your guys' thoughts about, because like I said, for the Grudge match for Series 2, this right here is the huge development I want to get into. So I have a general idea of what it's going to look like. I know I want it to be on a black card. I know it's going to be a grudge match. I know it's going to be side by side like so. Because the Bret Hart that I had, it wasn't situated in the bubble any old way, so the figure kind of like bounced around, right? So I talked to Sin. Is there gonna be some kind of like foot holders so that the figure can like sit in there so it doesn't move? Or can he pop some holes in the back? Maybe put some like zip ties and just zip tie it around the back. The Simba figures, the bootleg Simba figures, that's kind of like how they are. There's no plastic cover. It's just the figure on the card, and they got the little zip ties on the back. That's it. You know what? I would even accept that. That's fine too. Hey, Retchy, what's going on, bud? Man. Hey, Retchy. Yeah, man. I saw that question in my last Tuesday show video. I do. For someone like Abdullah the Butcher, it makes sense because you can't give, the flabby body or the chiseled abs to someone like Abdullah Butcher who's like over 400 pounds, right? So, if he gives like someone like ripped abs to, someone like Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, it's makes sense. Uh, Jimmy Garvin, Jimmy Garvin had like two variants, right? He had chiseled abs and he had the flabby stomach. I think Jimmy Garvin, what was he? I think he was more heavy set. So the flabby body made more sense for him. Who was the other guy? Uh, he was part of the 3-pack. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the name. It's driving me crazy now. Terry Gordy. Terry Gordy was the other guy. I think he was like really, really chubby as well. So they gave Terry Gordy chiseled abs, like Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Like you couldn't give someone that chubby, this built abs, which made no sense, right? So yeah, I like the variations with those type of figures, so that made a lot of sense. But so I do like the variations there. And as a collector and kind of have those variants, that's pretty cool. And kind of seeing the different variations with Hasbro, especially if they're errors sometimes. LJN with all of their variants, it can be a pain in the ass trying to collect all those variants, especially if you don't know about them. Like who's sitting think about Hasbro. Like who's sitting there looking at Rick Rude Hasbro and thinking, "Oh my God, this guy has pink pants, and this Rick Rude Hasbro has purple pants." Like you're not really paying attention to that. All you're thinking about is, "Okay, ma'am, I got Rick Rude. My Series 1 collection is complete." So if you acquire another Rick Rude at some point in the future, you're not thinking, "Okay, I got another Rick Rude. I could sell this now." It's not until later on and you're like, "Oh shoot, there's two variants. How many Rick Rudes have I had that I've sold that I didn't even think twice about looking at the pants?" And now you're probably paying more money to acquire the variant when probably you had 20 of those variants. So, but yeah, I like variants in that respect. I probably said a lot to probably, I could have just said it in a very short few sentences, but that's me. I overanalyze and speak a lot. Vince McMahon is the third man, third designer. Vince McMahon money, please. I wish I had Vince McMahon money. Shoot. No, but I had to recently. I had to close some accounts, close out some 401ks, so to speak. And now about like yesterday, or not yesterday, but Thursday, I was frustrated because I had to close out some accounts and I was waiting on this darn check to arrive, and it finally got the check FedEx to me from my freaking company. And I really wish they would have just like electronically paid me, direct deposit. They decided they want to send me a check, and the stupid company, these stupid banks, they only allow you to deposit X amount of money, and of course the check was higher than what that amount was, right? And I kind of talked about this in my Friday video that I posted. I filmed it Thursday, posted it Friday, and I was gonna use that to pay off my house, and I was so excited. And I get to freaking Radcliffe, Kentucky, which is like an hour away from Louisville. Now, mind you, I spent like half an hour on the phone with Navy Federal Credit Union, and because I had already endorsed it to USAA because I was going to e-deposit it via phone, and I'm like, hey, I signed it over to USAA because I thought I was going to e-deposit it, and they said no, that's fine. Just cross it out. As long as you take it into a physical bank, you're good. Awesome. Confirmed through Navy Federal. Made the hour or so trek to Radcliffe. I get to the bank. Absolutely worthless. I was so freaking disappointed, man. Such a bad experience. But what can you do? Yeah, being on the phone, I'm like, I just gotta know, you guys. Can you help me while I'm on the phone? If not, you gotta let me know because I gotta leave the house now. I gotta beat traffic. I gotta make sure I get to this bank before it closes. And they couldn't, so I left the house, drove, got to the bank, and they couldn't help me. And you know what? I didn't sit there. I didn't try to go back and forth with the people there. I didn't argue with them. I mean, I just got up and freaking left. I mean, they could see I was pissed off and angry. And I mean, what the hell do you want me to do? Like, okay, thank you, goodbye. No, pretty much have this, go fuck yourself, look on my face, and got up and walked away. Didn't say anything. I mean, what are you supposed to do when they freaking blatantly lie to your face or lie to you on the phone, and then they tell you, yeah, you go to the physical bank and you can deposit your shit there, and then you get to the bank and they blatantly lie to your face and say, no, we can't lie because you put USAA on the back of the check. I'm like, it's not deposited at this other bank. I couldn't deposit because it's higher than that balance, right? So the only thing I could do at that point was go back home, call up USA. Hey, I couldn't deposit it here. Can I at least mail this check into you guys? Here's the issue. It still says for e-deposit at USAA only. Because it says e-deposit, is that going to mess anything up if I mail it to you? No, it's not going to mess anything up. Just be sure to write a letter, include a letter with us, include your bank account that you want it deposited into, sign it, and tell us to deposit into said bank account. I'm like, okay, good. So I just mailed that off Friday morning. So hopefully that gets them Saturday or Monday or Tuesday, and hopefully everything will be good by hopefully by the weekend. Now, if it gets done by Tuesday, I'm thinking it should be posted by Wednesday. But because of the amount, I'm thinking I'm not going to see anything until, let's say, next Monday. So I still got to call PHH Mortgage again and have them send out a new letter, a new payoff quote. But things should be a little bit better for me, though. I mean, once the house is paid off, um, I'll be able to pay off that pool. It sucks. Like my house, I'm happy about, but years of working overseas and all of the 401k and everything, I put all that savings, that like pulling that stuff out, that was supposed to be, life savings. That's supposed to be retirement money, right? That was supposed to be old age put away money. I hate pulling that stuff out way too early. That stuff I wasn't supposed to pull that stuff out until like what age 60, 65. But I feel like this stuff is a necessity. So I didn't want to pull it out, but I felt like I had to. It's fine. Um, like I said, bills are bills and they're kind of piling up. And once the bills are gone, like once those particular bills are gone, that weight is gone. And I can just go back to kind of relaxing a little bit. Kind of going back to things I enjoy, right? Talking to you guys. But yeah, I mean, the house will be taken care of, the pool will be gone. Um, I I call it a remodel, but I don't look at it as a full remodel. They got to redo the bathroom now because they got to move the shower around in the upstairs hallway bathroom because they got to rip out the tub. They got to redo the pipes after the kitchen issue with the leakage. So the copper pipes are going to be removed, and they're swapping out the pipes now. So that's done. I got the new cabinets coming into the garage, so that's going to be taken care of. Shoot. One of my major things that I said I wanted to do this summer is make sure that the house in total was complete before the summer was over. And I feel like right now that's going to be accomplished. So I am thrilled. I am crazy excited. And I've even talked my wife into possibly even going to like freaking Disneyland or Disney World or even Universal Studios with me. I've never been to either one. So that's a summer trip or a winter, maybe even a winter trip that I'm looking forward to. Man, I got a lot of damn things I haven't even looked at yet. Sorry, guys. Gordy and the Long Riders are had both variations. Ratchet, yeah, but and I'm glad you brought that up because I think you even brought up the Long Riders for me, and I freaking overdid myself because I bought I bought two variants of the Long Riders. I think one guy had Long Riders with like some weird ass custom paint job on the legs, and I put an offer for $30 on those, and it was accepted. And there was another guy. He had like a starting bid of like $12, and the auction was ending like the next day. No bids. So starting bid like $12, no bids, and it was ending like in like less than a day later, like probably 12 hours later. I don't know. I just submitted a best offer of like $14. I didn't really expect it to be accepted or not to be accepted. I just put an offer just to see, and he accepted it. $14. So I kind of shot myself in the foot, putting that offer that $30 for that first set. So I got actually two flabby variants of the Long Riders coming in. Problem is, my Tuesday show, I don't think either variant will be available for this Tuesday show. So I will probably have to wait until next Tuesday when I do the Series 3 review to kind of show them off. Be like, hey, here's the Series 2 long riders, flabby variants that I missed. But the good thing is, I at least will have those variants for the collection that I didn't have before. I don't have the MOC for those flabby variants. I am still looking, but at least I'll have the loose collection, so that's good. And I wouldn't have even thought about them if you didn't bring it to my attention, so I appreciate that. Red and white jacket, Larry Zabisco. Red and white jacket, red and white jacket. Uh, I know I got a red jacket. I don't know anything about a white jacket. That might be new to me. Dang, is that even another one I gotta look for? Is that like a? That's not a Series 5 re-release, is it? No, because Larry Zabisco only had a. I think Larry Zabisco is only released in Series 1, if I'm not mistaken. And I only think they only had one variant. I could be wrong. I'll have to look into that because I'm not familiar with the alternate Larry Zabisco. Hey, thank you, Richard. Corey, man, I'm sorry to hear that, bud. Mm. Oh, damn. What time we at? 46 minutes? Shoot. So what was I talking about? Oh, so there's a couple of folks, additionally, Universal Studios. Man, I've never been to Universal, so I know my wife told me that like she went there when she was a teenager. So like the only theme parks I've ever been to were back in Chicago, and we're talking like Kittyland, Santa's Village, and Six Flags Great America, and of course whatever carnivals that they had, of course. But outside of that, oh, Texas, um, the whale one. What the hell was the whale one called? How the hell do I forget what the hell the whale one was called? Oh man, I'm drawing. I'm not even that drunk, and I'm drawing a damn blank. Oh shoot, SeaWorld. Jesus Christ. How the hell do I forget the name SeaWorld? Uh, I think SeaWorld was in like San Antonio or something, man. I think I went to SeaWorld a couple of times when we were in Texas. But yeah, SeaWorld, we had, and San Antonio was a bit of a damn drive too. I mean, good thing about living in Texas, Killeen, Central Texas. So, I mean, it wasn't too far away from any of the major cities. Like Austin was probably 45 minutes away. San Antonio or Dallas was probably 3 hours or so. So, yeah, I'd say roughly 3 hours. Unless your ass is over there speeding, maybe you get there in two, but 2.5. But I would say that's about a 3 hour drive. But I talked to Net today over at Ram Treasures, as I mentioned, and And she's going to look into possibly, branching out, see what the cost of those molds, what it would be, how much it would cost to get something like this made. But when she said it would be like $400 to create a mold, so that's interesting. When the folks earlier, when they asked me, am I interested in mass producing this figure? And like I said, I don't think I could mass produce myself. That's why I want to collaborate with other people, because I don't think I could market myself, but I could market Bone Breaking Action. I could market New 80s Revolution. Series 3. Series 3 would be freaking amazing. And you know what? I've always wanted ever since I got into the collection game, uh, bring prices down and fulfill orders. Maybe. I mean, if I could sell these figures, in all honesty, guys, here's realistically, these are $50 figures. That's why I respect Latuni and Big Rubber guys. They're selling the figures for what they should be selling for. $50, that's fair. I was looking at a Facebook message or a Facebook post, probably, I don't know, let's say a few days ago, and I think something was called like the Wrestling Ring or something, and it was like in the 1988, 1989, and 1989, and they were selling Series 6 LJN figures, Grand Toys figures, and they were marking them up for like $17.50, right? And these LJN figures used to sell for like $7. And in 1989, these wrestling ring figures were marking up for like $17. And I heard that Vince McMahon and the WWF were like suing them, and they went out of business because they were marking up their figures, right? But and based on today's dollar, those figures were selling for like 40. They were worth like $43 or something. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, shoot, that's not so bad, because based on today's dollar, I mean, that's pretty much on par, because Latuni and Big Rubber guys, they're selling their figures for $50, and that's about right. That's right. That's right on par with what it should be selling for, right? Just because the WWF, a multi-million-dollar business, can sell their figures for $8 or $7, whatever, doesn't mean this other company can't, sell theirs for a marked up price and get some added profit. I mean, if John Doe over here goes to the wrestling figure podcast, buys 10 figures at $50 a piece, $500, goes to eBay, sells them for $100, he can't be sued for that. So that's basically what the wrestling ring was doing, essentially, back in 1989. But I would love to be able to be able to build these and create these and sell them for like $50 a piece, because I think that would be amazing. I would love to be able to market myself and to sell this for $50. But I'm not a painter, right? I can't paint this worth the damn. Bone Breaking Action, he sent me like this video about creating and molding your own action figures. I'm like, I don't know how to do that stuff. Even if it was like the easiest thing in the world to create and mold your own figures, it's a rubber form. I would find some way to screw it up myself. I would have to hire someone to do all that stuff for me. That's why I'm looking at, Lady Luck's Leather, and I'm looking at XOX Customs by Ram Treasures, and that's why I'm looking at Latunia. I'm inquiring about, I'm looking at them like, hey, how much does it cost to create molds? I will pay you for the molds. I will pay you for the rubber figures and everything. Like I talked to Ned, I'm like, hey, if I send you these resin figures, can you create the mold? She gave me $1 price for creating the mold, and she's like, hey, I off of this single mold, I can create 20 to 25 figures. Awesome. Okay, okay. I like the dollar price you gave me for the mold. I will pay you for that mold. Great. 20 to 25 figures. Okay, let's look at that number. I personally, based on 20, I personally would probably buy 3 of those figures. Based on these 3 uniforms, I would probably buy these figures.
Oh, dearest.
Hi, honey.
I have an offering for you.
That looks delicious.
Take it.
I would very much love it. Thank you so much.
Love you.
That looks incredible. My wife is awesome. Of course, I can't really eat this right now, but actually, I lied. I can't eat this right now. Actually, it's kind of messy. I probably can't. Oh, damn, the sandwich looks good. 56 minutes? Shoot. Damn, this food looks good. I got to end this live stream just so I can eat. But based on those numbers, I would probably buy 3 of those molds or 3 of those figures and for 3 of these different customs. But it all depends. Hey, who else out there? Would anybody else be interested in purchase said figures? If 10 people said, "Hey, I'd buy one," okay. Go to X2X Customs. Net's selling them. Awesome. Give her your business. That'd be great. I would love to see my figure selling at selling on Net's page. That would be. I told her that would be cool as hell. Right now, Sin Bodhi, like I said, Sin Bodhi Customs. He's my guy. He's the customizer. He's the creator of these amazing figures. I have no problems giving him his shout out. The man is, like I said, he is one of the most elite customizers of LJN wrestling action figures out there. When you think about LJN customizers, I mean, there's probably very few names that are recognizable in the LJN world. Zashman, he's probably like the most common name in the LJN custom world. So he's probably like the one name that you're gonna hear above all else. But Sin Bodhi, he's gonna be like right up there as well. Kevin Pelkey, obviously, he's gonna be right up there at the top. Tom Veg, Tom Veg makes head molds, 3D prints those. He's right up there. But like right at the beginning of the video, what I talked about in terms of like him wanting full body videos of like my wife and shit. No, because of that crap, I wasn't down with that. So I don't recommend that stuff. But Black Rotor set in. Black Warriors for Big Rubber Guys. Black Road. Hold on. Are you talking about Legion of Doom in red from Big Rubber Guys? Because Road Warriors in black, that came out in what, Series 8? Yeah, because in black has been out for a while. I think the only way to get those in is if you buy them on eBay if they're available. Unless you pre-ordered them and you never received them. Did Major Wrestling Figure Podcast never ship them to you? Or what was happening with that order? Yeah, because Black Legion of Doom came out like in Series 8. That came out months and months ago. The Red Legion of Doom, that one is what just came out, and those were the Big Bad Toy Store exclusives. Yeah, that's the most recent one. The Black Legion of Doom that's been out for months. If you didn't get those and you pre-ordered, you gotta shoot. And that's the thing. I don't think if you didn't receive yours yet, I don't know if Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. I don't know if they even have any more left over, but definitely email them and see what they say, because if anything, if they don't have it, you at least got to get your money back. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, bud. Shoot. Mm, damn, man. It's kind of like why I feel like sometimes I want to order like 3 sets of these darn suckers, um, just in case like things like this happen, where I kind of feel like I have an extra set. If in case anybody needs them, I can always send them out to somebody. But if anybody's wondering, man, I am going to talk about it. I know I said I wanted it to be a secret, but I've already mentioned it in past videos. Bone Breaking Action tonight. We are collaborating on Series 2. That is a 2-pack that is in the works. So we are going to have our Series 2 Grudge Match in coming up. So, with his face mask going on, man, kind of like the luchador type of deal, that's going to be an incredible look. And me with the whole red face, devil look with suit. I think I got, what did I have? What did I request? I think I requested a Greg Valentine with meets SD Jones choke slam fighting pose. And that one is going to be freaking killer. I could have just gone with like an axe red face type of thing, but there's, like I said, when I came home from Afghanistan, oh man, I remember talking about this briefly in 2014, and then I stopped. I kind of like went off topic. In 2014, I came home and we went to this murder mystery dinner, my wife and I, and so I dressed as the devil. And so, based on that look, that's where that devil outfit came into play. And so, the fighting pose I went with was the Greg Valentine with the SD Jones choke slam. Now, SD Jones and Greg Valentine both have the left hand up. Greg Valentine, left hand up. SD Jones with the left choke slam. So, I basically had to choose which one I wanted up. I decided to have Greg Valentine or SD Jones with the right hand. Since I'm right-handed, I thought it was better with the right hand up, right? Now, Series 3, Jason up. I had to collaborate with the New Age Revolution. Now, this is what's exciting though. This sucker was in play for the last year plus. A buddy and I were discussing this last year. I guess he and Jason had some exchanges, and Jason kind of broached the subject about kind of having like this sort of, boxing promo thing going on, right? And we all know that on YouTube, if you any YouTubers are sort of beefing, it brings views. It puts eyes on your channel. it builds subscribers to either content creator. So that was enticing. And so Jason brought this whole like, this whole feud type of deal to him. Do you want to kind of have like this sort of how did he describe it to him? This sort of promo boxing type of deal thing. I'm like, and he didn't want to do it, but shit, man, I'll do it. Sounds like fun. Anybody that's Elon and Trump. Hey, Rush Collectibles has got like an Elon and Trump type of deal, and I think that's kind of fun, actually. But so anybody that's been watching my channel, I've been talking about Jason up for like, giving him shout outs on my channel for like the longest. So no hate towards 80s Revolution or anything like that. Now, there was a small period where I'm like, damn, Jason, I'm leaving messages on your account and my damn messages aren't populating. Where the hell are they? Are you deleting my messages? Asshole. It was funny, but it was nothing to get bent out of shape about. It was, it was funny though. But it was perfect timing though. It was perfect timing for what I had in mind. And so the feud begins. And I wish people knew what was in my head, because this and this, I tell you, man, you guys hear the way I talk. There are a million things that go through my mind at any given time. And I think about things in such a way like I always gotta think like 5 and 10 steps ahead, right? And it's not just about what's happening now, but I'm always planning, like I'm planning for the future, and I'm thinking about like what could happen, what's the possibilities. Like, I didn't know that this was going to happen, but I thought maybe this could. I knew I wanted an action figure. And when my buddy was discussing, this feud idea, I'm like, awesome. How would a grudge match? And of course, you're seeing all these beefs on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, I can work with this. Ideas, light bulb. I can play this out for an entire for months, for a year. Lead up to WrestleMania type of deal. Ideas. I'm telling you, man, the advertisement was playing itself out for me. It was brilliant. If I wanted to create a Watty's channel versus New Age Revolution grudge match, the advertisement was already in play. It was perfect. It was the most brilliant thing ever. The setup was golden. Problem is, I just suck at promotions, and that was my failure. Because when I started, it was more of it was my fault, because I was more attacking, and I wasn't doing a good job at doing an actual promo. Like Mike Tyson, like, oh, I'm gonna bite your ear off. I'm gonna eat your children, or something like that. I don't know, some stupid stuff. I don't know. Like I said, I was more attacking, so I wasn't really doing a good job of like, I'm not very good at one-liners and stuff like that. So that's where I failed. But the setup was there. It was fun. It was planned, and it was intellectual. It was solid. And I thought Jason, I thought he knew me. Like because like I said, I'd been talking about Jason for ever. I bought from him off of eBay a million times. I assumed he knew my channel, knew about me because I talked about him before. I assumed other people who watched my channel also watched his channel. I assume they talk. It's a small community, but they all talk to him about me. They talk to me about him, etc. I assume because I bought from him. I assume he checked up on me, checked up on my channel, something. But I guess I was wrong about that too. So and because he knew that me and the other guy, because I guess he knew that we were friends, I thought that he would have known that this was the plan. But again, this was all assumptions, and the assumption was incorrect. So again, continuous failure on my part. I should have reached out to him and let him know the plan. And maybe part of it was I didn't want him to know because I wanted it to play out the way that it did, because I want it to be as realistic as possible, for it to be as real as possible, because for this intended purpose. Things just got a little out of hand too fast, and that's what kind of sucked though. Um, the hate I could have lived with. The trolls I could have lived with. What sucked though are the subscribers that abandoned me. Like I said, it's a small niche market, right? A lot of people that follow me follow him. A lot of people that follow him follow me, etc. A lot of people that follow my channel for months, and many more that followed my channel for years, upped and abandoned me in mass quantities. And many of them didn't realize that this was intentional, that this was planned, that this had a purpose, that this wasn't about hate or anything, that there was a reason behind it, that there was an intended goal. The intended goal was for the exact reason that I'm explaining right now. Jason and I, in collaboration, for Series 3, Grudge Match, where you've got versus the foul-mouthed drunkard. Fuck yeah. How freaking awesome is that? To all those freaking haters that didn't even know it, god damn. And you know what? Here's the thing. I freaking think that the same guys that were like calling me out, hating on me like crazy, I think once this New Age Revolution Watty's Channel 2-pack comes out, it's gonna come out after the BBA Watty's Channel 2-pack, right? So it's gonna be about 8 months or so, probably, maybe shorter, but I expect probably 4 months per 2-pack, right? So I think a lot of the nuppers, revolutionaries, I don't know how you would call them, revolutionaries, revolutioners. We'll call them revolutionaries. I don't know. I think he would be able to sell a lot of his figures, a lot of his 2-packs, a lot of the 2-packs. So um his fans love the hell out of him. I'll give him credit. His people love him. And then I realized that this was freaking something that was amazing. Bone Maniacs. I love it. The Bone Maniacs. Second smoke I see, we cussing. You know, I started the party a little bit earlier today. I gotta start my my videos a little bit sooner at 8 o'clock because sitting there for about 10 minutes waiting for the countdown to hit 8 o'clock, and I'm like, ugh. I gotta start drinking, man, because I'm kind of, just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting for like to hit from 7:50 to 8 o'clock, and I'm like, man, it's boring.
Hi, sweetheart.
What's up, baby?
When you cleaned the dining room table yesterday, my black razor was on there. Where'd you put it?
I don't know. Oh, it's on the shelf.
What shelf?
Black shelf in the gray tray. Behind the couch.
Okay. Thank you.
Boner Maniac. Like it. Boner Maniacs. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm getting kind of hungry now. I'm going to eat this food that my wife gave me. I think she ordered takeout. I don't think this is frozenables. Yeah, this is definitely takeout because I don't know what the sandwich is. Mm. But if Net or I think she will. I think she would definitely take on the opportunity to potentially, create some '80s Revolution action figures. And I know most definitely if she could create 20 to 25 of his figures, that those figures would definitely sell out. I think New '80s Revolution. I think his subscribers would buy his figures. But the idea is not individual single figures, right? The idea is to get them carded. It doesn't have to be, legitimate carding like so. It could be like the little regular carding like I was talking about earlier. And get them on 2-packs. So I want them to be combined as 2 figures and potentially sell them for, if I do decide to sell them for profit, what can I ask? 250, 300? Would that sell? Maybe. Possibly. So I think Cinnabody probably ask 150 for a rubber figure, 150 per figure, so 300 plus carding. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood for like 325, 350. Let's say 325 on a small end. So yeah, you probably couldn't even sell it for 300. So yeah, that's why I'm thinking you probably couldn't turn it into a business. That's why I'm thinking like it wouldn't be a business. It would just be for me personally. So anyone's like, hey, are you wanting to mass produce it? Probably not, because unless I could find someone that could turn these into rubber figures for a fraction of the cost, paint them, sell them for low cost. Sell them for what they should sell for. There is nothing that I wouldn't want to charge my my viewers or anything like that for that kind of money. It's crazy. $400 plus for a 2-pack? No. I love having a figure myself, but I wouldn't pay $400 for myself. Come on. Guys, we're at about an hour and 20 minutes. This has been an awesome live stream. Unless anybody else has anything you guys want to talk about, I think I'm pretty much done for the night. So, Drunk Munchie is worse than we once. Dude, you're not even kidding about that. Dude, hey, baby, I check this out, bud. My wife, man, she made my drink, right? But she made this a couple hours ago, and she made this like she pulled out the blender, and she pulled out the last few liquor bottles that we had. This, I don't know, this red, white, and blue. I don't know what it was, like vodka or something, and this other vodka bottle, and they were probably all vodka. I don't know. Mix all the drinks together. I looked at that. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be freaking dancing today. Then she had to like mix like the darn orange and red Sunny Delight or Hawaiian Punch. I'm guessing it was Hawaiian Punch. I'm like, dude, you better add more freaking Hawaiian Punch to that damn thing because I'm going to freaking die. I mean, there was so much freaking odd. She has so much freaking odd vodka, alcohol. Like, I can't even talk anymore. Like, I drink a little bit, but like, I probably drank like that much of it before I even came up here. But I wanted to make sure I didn't drink a lot because I didn't want to be like super drunk before I even started the darn live stream. But God, if I go back downstairs and I drink any more, I'm probably gonna be dancing off the. I'm probably gonna be drunk as shit, and I'm gonna come back up here, do another live stream at like 11 p.m. drunk as shit, and be like wanting to talk to you guys. Probably be like speaking gibberish, and everybody's gonna be watching like, what the hell is this clown saying to me? But you're still gonna be watching because it's gonna be too fascinating not to want to watch. Hey Corey, thanks again, buddy. I've checked out his channel from time to time. It's been a while since the last time I looked at it, but I have subscribed and checked him out from time to time. The neon icon. I think pretty much all of those 80s, pretty much all the 80s channels you could think of, man. If they're 80s related, I'm pretty much subscribed to them. But they're just like so difficult to keep track of absolutely everybody. There are pretty much select few that like I will check in on almost on a daily basis if they post on a daily basis. But yeah, I'm pretty much losing it right now. Oh. Absolutely, bud. At this point, man, I think at about an hour and 25 minutes, I think I've hit my limit. Last week we were only about an hour, and I was actually very surprised that it went so little. Most of these live streams have been going like an hour 30, hour 45 minutes, and last week was like an hour. I'm like, damn, really? I went downstairs last week and at about an hour 5 minutes, and my wife looked at me like, "Why so little this week?" I'm like, "Damn, it was an hour long. I mean, how long do you want me to be upstairs?" Hey, Corey, good night, bud. Guys, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Had a blast this week. Thank you again for allowing me to show off my prototype and for discussing ideas for the next, wave of figures that are coming in series 2 and 3. And per usual, man, if any ideas come up, no ideas, I'll keep you guys updated. But when the figures do come out for series 2 and 3, definitely looking to do another live stream. I probably won't do a regular video. Live stream is the way to go for those reviews. So, guys, again, thank you for tuning in, and see you all next week. Take care, everybody. Oh, what's up? I have more questions for next week. Oh, you have more questions next week. Gotcha. All right, bud. See you, Corey.